Famicom Tantei Club Part 2, Ushiro ni Tatsu Shoujo, I probably butchered that, or Famicom Detective Club Part 2, The Girl Who Stands Behind, is one of those games that you can say you played if you want to impress nobody at a party. It was originally released for the Nintendo in 1989 in Japan alone on their disk system, but later remade for the Super Nintendo and released on the Virtual Console. This title, along with games like Terranigma, Clock Tower, and Secret of Mana 2, are some of the best Super Nintendo games that were never released in North America. Thanks to the dedicated work of some translators, this title is now playable via emulation at least, and it is a fantastic game. This is a game that shares gameplay elements from Snatcher, the Phoenix Wright series, Kara no Shoujo, or a lot of other detective video games. So, if you like adventure games with a detective twist, then you will adore this little gem. The plot of the game is as follows. You play as a teenage detective who has a name that you get to choose. Naturally, I went with the name Large Penis, mostly because I'm an immature prick, and because I like to think that I could shake even the most devious liar when they hear my name and they get filled with unfathomable terrors. You're tasked with solving the case of a murdered schoolgirl, but it soon becomes clear that this current case is somehow connected to another unresolved case from 15 years ago, where the statute of limitations is conveniently beginning to wear off very soon. All of this is complicated by the mysterious appearance of an entity known as the Girl Behind, who haunts the high school, where secrets are running rampant and it's not clear what's real and what's fiction. It's a plot filled with mystery, intrigue, tension, and suspense. The story in the game is very strong, which better be the case when the only gameplay is from the story. The gameplay feels a lot like Kara no Shoujo because you play as a detective and you have to spend a lot of time around a high school solving some crazy mystery with many layers. You spend a lot of the game talking to people, finding evidence, doing some reasoning, filling in some blanks, and more. This wasn't really a visual novel because the game does require some interactivity when it asks you to figure stuff out here and there, but there's no penalty for wrong answers, and I don't think there's any bad endings. Basically, it's a game where you just follow through this one mystery story, and it only lasts maybe 5 to 7 hours or so. However, let me tell you, it's a very gripping 5 to 7 hours. I marathoned this whole game one Friday morning for the whole 5 to 7 hours because I just needed to find out what was going to happen next. There are such good twists, red herrings, and the whole thing just is chock full of tension. I really can't emphasize that enough. As an actual mystery story, it does keep you guessing for the most part, but I liked how it's not convoluted enough to be annoying. It's actually pretty realistic and easy to follow, though that probably means that you'll be able to catch who the perpetrator is pretty early on like I did, but there's still enough to keep you guessing. I don't like how there's not many concrete facts for you to reason off of, so it's really more of a game where you have to find the clues and then the game kind of puts it together for you, unlike Phoenix Wright where you're basically doing most of the work. Still, it's a really tight plot for the most part, though there are some little narrative threads left unresolved, like certain characters or plot points, but for the most part, it's a strong story that leaves you satisfied, but still leaves a few things ambiguous that'll keep you guessing even when the game is long done. A huge part of this is the writing, which is very to the point and just really good. The translation was really well done. The plot points were well fleshed out, and there wasn't any issues with translation, really. I only caught one spelling mistake, and the other thing that kind of confused me is that they translated the title from The Girl Who Stands Behind to The Girl Behind, which was just kind of confusing when I first started playing, but I understand that they probably just needed to save space. Still, in any case, it's a really good translation job. High five to the guys or gals who did this great work. My only real issue with the gameplay is how easy it is to get lost in investigations. Figuring out what the hell to do can just be a pain in the ass sometimes. This is unfortunately a problem that's very common to games like Phoenix Wright and Snatcher, and basically every game in this genre. I just hate it when I've exhausted all options and there's nothing else I can do but keep asking the same thing again and again until something happens. It gets really annoying and slows the game down to a crawl sometimes, which is super frustrating. I would definitely have a walkthrough nearby for sure if you're going to play this one, but really that's the only issue that comes to mind. Probably my favorite thing about this game is how effectively it sets the tone. I played this game in broad daylight, but the tension that this game can create is absolutely outstanding. As the game goes along, time on the statute of limitation begins to run out, and then people get more and more pulled into the insanity, and you're really feeling it by the end of the game. There are some scenes where you really get the creeps and you have no idea what's going to happen next, and I love that so much, especially how they did all of this without it necessarily being a horror game. Like, there's really no blood or gore or any like jump scares or really anything like that. It's just really kind of the tension from the location, the story, the characters, and it's really, really good. I hadn't felt this kind of tension since I played Higurashi, and although this game is nowhere near that scary or crazy, it has to be said that this game is just excellent at setting the tone, whether it be dark, comedic, or anything in between. I really can't say anything more than that. Other than that, this game can hit hard when it's firing on all cylinders, when the graphics are going, when you have this tense music, when the story starts to climax. You'll get into it. You can get a rush like I did. The graphics in this game are ridiculously good. Like, I had no idea the Super Nintendo was capable of this level of graphics. This came out later in the SNES lifespan, and it looks so good. I thought Snatcher looked amazing for the time, but these cutscenes are even more detailed and cinematic than that. Honestly, even though the locations are really simple, they do a good job. But the really cool part is the character designs, because they're detailed and they shed a lot of light into the characters. Particularly when a character twitches a bit when you corner them or say something that puts them on edge, or they'll quickly react to something when you show them something. It's very much like Phoenix Wright, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to hear that Phoenix Wright drew a lot of inspiration from this one. Graphically, it's a marvel for the system, and I can't say enough about how great these graphics are. The music in the game it's okay. I don't really remember too many tracks off the top of my head other than some of the creepier music, but the music that was there fits the tense mood pretty well. More impressive is the sound design. Like Higurashi, in mystery games like this, sound design is really underestimated because you need really strong cues for when a major plot point is revealed or when there's a shift in tone and things kind of get dark suddenly. Again, we see this in Phoenix Wright. Something else we see from Phoenix Wright is how the text tone for characters, when like the text is moving by and then you get that little beep, is higher or lower depending on whether the character has a higher or lower voice. And it's small touches like that that really make this game count. Most impressive of all is how the game uses ambient noises to heighten tension. It's just incredible how well this game can give you the chills. I absolutely adore it. To conclude, this is a great little gem that I'm really happy that I stumbled upon. It presents a tight little story that doesn't overstay its welcome, but manages to be so much in so little time. You can see a ton of inspiration it left for future games in the series, but it manages to be unique even when it borrows a lot of detective cliches and stuff like that. My only real complaint about the title is how you can get stuck sometimes, and I guess it's kind of an issue that some plot points might be left unresolved, but other than that, if you like mystery stories or games, then you really owe it to yourself to play this one. Like, seriously, give it a shot, go hunt it down. You can play it for free because it's emulated and you can't get it any other way, so you don't even have to feel guilty about it. Finally, I can't find many games like this, like Phoenix Wright or like, I guess, Hotel Dusk or Kara no Shoujo. I love those kinds of games where it's like kind of point and click, but mostly just like a good detective mystery story. Preferably one on the more realistic side. So, if anyone knows any kind of games like this, please let me know in the comments below and I'll probably check it out. I would really appreciate it. In any case, definitely give this one a go. Thanks for watching.